What's going on YouTube and Sinjin Nation, and welcome to, well, the deck that I basically completed the NR Rarity Festival with. Now, a lot of people out there, they've discussed the top 5 decks. I'm not going to do that. I mean, if to be honest with you, it's objective based and it's opinion based. Everybody's going to sit there and say, I done my testing, this is the deck that we found was good. But did you really test every single card in the NNR? Cool. I didn't. Sam and I, we actually... Man, my dandruff's like really showing today. Jokes aside. I tested a bunch of stuff, a bunch of ideas and everything. Ranging from Penguins to Morphages, the FA, Metal Foes deck, Tinny. I even tested with Battle Wasps. Had much success with a lot of them. But what I'm going to show you right quick before we get into my deck profile, because I have Master Duel up, my win rate with my deck that I used. Basically, you ain't going to be able to see all of them. But I will admit, with this deck alone, I technically had 6 losses. I will admit to that. But once I started playing this variant of it, I only lost 3-4 times. And everything else, aside from me showing off the other decks I had built, because stream was like, hey, we want to see the other decks as well. So I showed them. But I stuck with this deck. And you can see I did pretty well in it. Got all the gems in a matter of 6.5 hours. We played Ancient Warriors. Now, the deck as a whole can be much, much better, I will admit. And in theory crafting, once I kind of got comfortable and everything, I made a mention of actually playing True Dracos in it. And here's why. They also have continuous spells and traps and stuff like that. The beauty that I had in mind as playing True Dracos with this is the fact that you could try to maybe cut some of these down and actually use your spells and traps to send to the graveyard to normal summon your True Dracos. And even have recursions of search and stuff with your True Dracos and things like that. The funny thing is that you have recursibility as well with your Ancient Warriors to be able to bring back your spells and traps. Same with True Dracos and stuff like that, be able to shuffle them back. So you could tweak around play it. I might actually tweak it a little bit, and if there's ever another like small NNR tournament, I may actually do the True Draco build just to see if it's better than pure. But card by card, we got 3 Graceful Zhukong. Perhaps your best normal summon in the deck. He's allowed to, you can special summon him. You can actually send your continuous spell trap, add another one to your hand. If another Ancient Warrior activates its effect, it negates a monster effects that are activated. Beauty thing about this, non-targeting. None of the Ancient Warriors, unless specified, affects target. That's important because number 97 is running about the machine deck, the gadget control. We're basically playing 3 of all the monsters. A lot of them have the same effect of you can send. This one adds one from the graveyard, your spells and traps. But then if another effect is activated, you can pop a spell trap your opponent controls. That is targeting, which is good because, you know, spell trap removal. Perhaps one of your best ones, your reoccursion from the graveyard, is your Jay Win. He can send to actually half the attack of 2 face-up monsters on the field. Now, the only downside of this, it has to be 2 monsters. The upside of this, it's non-targeting. Again, halving it. But his main effect is if another Ancient Warrior effect activates, you are able to reoccur one of your spell traps out of the graveyard and add it back to your hand. Actually, I'm sorry, any Ancient Warrior card. So, I mean, you can essentially get back anything that you have used that turn, your spells, your traps. Your biggest one you want to reoccur is actually your East by South Wind. Phenomenal card in the deck. Granted, I'm only playing it one. We'll get to it in a minute. Up next, you have your Zhang Kong. What he's able to do is, when it's added to your hand by an Ancient Warrior effect, which it's easy to get to your hand with 3 visits, you can special summon it. But he has an effect that says, oh, if a spell trap card is activated, you can send a face-up Ancient Warrior continuous spell trap to the graveyard, negate it. Not once per turn. It is once per turn. I can't read. Never mind. Ignore that. But if a monster effect activates while you control an Ancient Warrior, while you control it, you can send a face-up, negate the activation. It's an Omni Negate. You can use each effect once per turn as well. The beauty of this is the fact you special summon it. Okay, they activate spell trap, negate. Activate monster effect, negate. I mean, what more do you want? I mean, it's a beautiful card. And the beauty behind this, if you have something like Zhu Gong on the field, you get your negate. Zhu Gong will negate your next effect. Zhang Wan. All other Ancient Warrior monster control can't be destroyed by battle. The beauty behind this is what you do with Zhang Wan, his biggest thing is at the start of the damage step. When an Ancient Warrior monster battles an opponent's face-up monster, now they both do have to be face-up. You special summon him during the damage step. That is important. And if you do, that opponent's monster loses 1,000 attack permanently. Now, and then the beauty behind Zhang Wang, as soon as he hits the field, if your monster destroys the opponent's monster by battle in that, Zhang Wan then has an effect to pop another card on the field. Yeah. Talk about deadly. Honestly, my favorite in the deck, well, second favorite, because my favorite is Guan Yun. Now, I don't know if anybody knows much about Romance at the Three Kingdoms. Granted, I don't know much, and what I know more about it is more or less the Dynasty Warrior games, as I played it in the Nobunaga's Admiration, those type games. Guan Yu's a badass, is all I'm going to say. Okay, good, I can say that. But real talk, Guan Yu is awesome. He's a Cyber Dragon, so if you have no monsters your opponent does, you can special summon him. The other thing is the fact that he can control the board, so you can go, say, Guan Yu, activate his effect, destroy your opponent's monster, summon another of your Ancient Warriors. The other thing is your opponent cannot target other Ancient Warriors except for him for card effects, which is beautiful because a lot of the card effects that are in the NNR pool target. They're not a blanket of, oh, you can do this. Like your Dynamiciuses, your Canadias, everything targets more or less in this. So having a thing that says, oh, you can only target this is awesome. And then your next heavy hitter, your one that's going to be kind of closing out games, your Zhang Dai. Gains 300 monsters during 300 attack for each monster your opponent controls during your turn only. So if it's your opponent's turn, he's original attack. If your opponent has 5 monsters, then it's your turn. He's 4,200. Really beefy dude. Actually, they can have 6, or if they decide, if there's some way to extra link in this, at 7, yada yada. We're not getting into this. But if you actually control 2 Ancient Warrior monsters, you can actually special summon him. Now, but when you special summon him, and if your opponent actually has more monsters than you do, you get 2 attacks. So essentially, if they have 4 monsters, once you summon him, you can activate his effect. You get the 2 attacks during the battle phase. And if you have something like Zhang Wan in your hand, you're essentially winning the game right there. Tensu, we all know what that does. It allows you to get two normal summons of a Beast Warrior. They all gain 100 attack. Really, once you use this effect one time to summon 2 of your level 4s, you don't really need it. You can use it with him to actually search any of your other spells if you have them. Which, one of your biggest ones you want is going to be your 3 visits. Now, with 3 visits, what you're able to do is, when you normal summon another Ancient Warrior, you're able to search one of a different attribute. 9 times out of 10, you're going to want to try to get maybe your Zhang Wan or your Zhang Gong. It just depends on if you're trying to push for a game. You could also go for Zhang Day. It's more or less whatever situation comes up in that given time, what you have in your hand to get what you need. Secondly is your Sun Lu Alliance. Now, what this card more or less was is the alliance when they came together. The Li Bei went to I think it's like Sun Quan, and they made the alliance to go against Cao Cao, I don't remember, but they went against him. Now, what they do is, if you have 2 different attributes, you can declare an attribute, and your opponent cannot activate the effects of those monsters they currently control. Funny is, I actually added number 77 with this because I had my 2 monsters on the field declared light, or declared dark, and from there I was able to use East by South Wind to declare the attack and pop it, because then he couldn't get the effect of going, and I pushed for game. Up next is your Boring Arrows. This essentially is a Ryuraku of the deck. You have to target a monster's effect, and then it gains. The other thing is, if you have 2 with different name attributes on the field, when it's sent to the graveyard, you place a spell trap, except for Boring Arrows. This is important to remember, that it places it, not sets, because you're able to place something like your Defense of Changbang, or your Chivalrous Path. You're able to place these on the field in order to use their effects to make them so that you can have your monsters not attacked, or that they can't be destroyed by battle. Perhaps one of the best spell traps in the thing is your East by South Winds. Essentially what this does is, during the second standby phase, it must go to the graveyard. However, the 2 turns before that, you're able to flip a coin. If it's heads, it gets sent to the graveyard. When this card is sent to the graveyard is when it really pops off. You are able to activate it in every single one of your Ancient Warriors that are on the field at that time. I messed up this at the first time I done it, because I was like, oh, okay, I can just use it, summon it. No. The monster has to be on the field at that time. Gains the effect of, you destroy a card when it declares an attack. That's non-targeting removal. Meaning, you declare the attack, pop. Declare the attack, pop. You're able to out monsters, spells, traps, just by declaring an attack. Really powerful card. And the beauty thing behind this is, paired with Jie Wang, you can essentially, if you have your 2 on the field, you declare with your other one, pop your card. Jie Wang can add back your East by South Wind to use again and again. That's why I'm only running it at 1. You could play it higher. But yeah, Inverse Universe is here as a joke. Quite literally a joke. I do have something really funny that happened though. I was guy activated Shield and Sword. He was playing Gear, and I guess his plan was, because as a joke I went ahead and activated it, but he goes Shield and Sword, I chain Inverse Universe, so it flipped my monsters and flipped them back. It's kind of hilarious. Wall Disruption, because you're really heavy on battle focusing, and when they declare the attack, you lower the attack. It's real important. Your defense at Changbang. Ancient Warrior monsters basically get the Ancient Gear effect when they attack. But you can only use one of these effects. Start a battle phase, opponent's battle phase. You can send to the graveyard. Your Ancient Warriors cannot be targeted for an attack. This is good if they have something that is a much higher attack than you. You can actually summon, have them summoned, use this, send it to the graveyard. They can't attack you that turn. And then from there, you're able to make your plays and half their attacks and get over. The other thing is, if it's in the graveyard and your opponent declares an attack, you can banish it, summon one from your deck. And last but not least, we have our Chivalrous Path. If an Ancient Warrior monster is destroyed by battle, you can send this to the graveyard instead. The other effect is, if your opponent special summons, you can summon a token. And then, as well as if a card activates that's target whilst in the graveyard, banish it, negate it. There's one other effect I left out, now that I think about it, is with the Sunlu Alliance. And it also deals with your opponent activating monster effects. You can make them all gain 300 attack for each Ancient Warrior monster you control. So if you have 5, you can have 1500, because I say 5 because we can't use the link in this. Your extra deck is more or less generic rank 4s that you can make. It can be just about anything. It's like the high-end stuff. You have your Sky Pegasus because it can be made. Gaga Samurai is just there to kind of like close out games. Malevolent Sin has actually came up a lot for me. And then these two, Mountain Smasher is a really great card for actually gaining a lot of attack, popping, and really steamrolling. And Harmonizing, Harmonizing Gradle kind of is an interesting card because you can actually make it. Granted, these two are both wind. You can make it with them, detach, and then equip one of your opponent's monsters, and you essentially can have a monster that can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. Just battle. Yeah, battle or card effects of the activated effects. So if your opponent's heavy on like lights and earths and stuff like that, you can manipulate the attributes that are underneath this card and essentially have an unkillable monster. Dermidol, best rank 2 in this deck. You're able to pop, and the coolest thing is if you have Zhang Wang on the field, you can pop, use Zhang Wang, pop another card. And then this was just there just to kind of have as a filler. It's able to like reoccur your Beast Warriors out and back. Overall, that's what it is. So, like I said, this is what I feel was the underdog deck that nobody was talking about. So, yeah. If you enjoyed this, let me know. And again, like I said, if you want to try the True Draco version of it, I think I covered it. I don't know. You can try splashing that in and everything. But this is what I feel is one of the best decks going into the NNR Festival. Give it a try. If you like it, let me know. And if you did enjoy this deck profile that I used, let me know in the comments down below. If you want to see kind of the other decks that I did, I can show them off as well. Separate profiles and stuff. Or just a video, just kind of splash them, because I'm sorry. Everybody's been making videos on this. I just wanted to make my personal deck that I enjoy playing. So again, like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the whole deal. You know what you YouTubers ask about. But until next time, peace out. Happy gaming. Where's my mouse? St. John out.